Hey, it's Carmel, and in today's lesson we get to find images. Like with music, we need it to be royalty free and copyright free. So I'm going to show you where you can source some images for free and images that are really amazing on your budget. So let's have a look. We're going to dive in, look at images, and we're going to add them to your online course. Now, images obviously attract people, and you need to have something that represents your brand as well as what you're actually offering. So there are a number of different places you can get images, but you're wanting to get copyright free, royalty free images so that you're not, going to get into any legal disputes. You're obviously wanting to have images of good quality because that represents your brand and people will want to buy from someone who has actually put the time and effort into having correct images. So I just want to show you how I go about adding images to my platform. The first thing I do is go to Pexels. So Pexels.com is a free library of images where you can thank the people who have made the images, and you can donate to them if you want to, but you can basically just download the images and put them straight onto your site. So I always go onto here. Now there are a number of different images, say for video editing. I'm looking at video editing, and I'm needing my image to be a more horizontal image than a vertical image because that's what the format is. Now, I was looking at video editing and I was going along here and I saw all of these ones which really do, reflect video editing, but it makes it look a little bit unattainable for the average person who is wanting to create an online course from their hobbies. So you don't all have this kind of equipment. So I'm trying to find an image that is horizontal and that also allows people to identify and think that they can create their own video too. This one looks perfect to me. So if I click on that one, it is around about the size that I'm wanting, and it just says free download, so I download it. Now, like I say, you can either thank them on social media platforms or you can actually pay for your image. So what I do is I take that image and I put it onto my desktop. And the next part I want to explain to you is with all the images that you have, you are going to want to name your images correctly before you even upload them onto your online course platform because it will help with SEO. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to name this image because that will be the name of my course. I'm calling it Simple Video Editing. Now I've actually got all my images on this side of my computer on my desktop. So that was great. I am now going to close that. And here you can see I have my home page like we had in the previous session. And we have changed the colors and now I'm wanting to add images. So if I want to add an image to the background of this, like I have in my other actual Sealer Academy, because remember we're copying that academy, I am going to have a different browser. So I'm going to go into this browser, say for example, so that I can always have a good view of what I'm trying to copy. Now as you can see, this is actually dark with white in the front, and that's quite nice, and I have got this big picture on the background instead of having a little picture here. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to change this background image. So closing that, and I am going to delete this image. I don't want that there, and I'm going to add an image onto my background. Now my images here are only my logos, so in order to add an image I can upload the file, but I'm quite lazy, so whatever I want I just put on the desktop immediately for the day, so I don't have to go in and find it each time. And for me, I actually prefer just dragging it in. So let's drag that image in. You can see here I have named it the Sealer Academy because I'm wanting SEO ratings to go up for when people look up the Sealer Academy. I'm going to click on that image. It's been selected and I say select. Now it's asking me how I'd like my image to be, and I'm saying yep, the center, I'm covering the whole area, but now you see it does look a little bit different to what I'm wanting. Let's just click out of it and go to the original, to the other one. Okay, so I see here that there's actually a filter over it, and this is white writing with the color button. So I'm going to try and replicate that. So I go back to my block. I'm going to keep my image, add an overlay, and now I choose my overlay color and I change my opacity. So again, I need to change it to what I'm wanting it to represent. Let's go back to the other one just to check. Okay, it was far more of like a bluey color, almost like that. Okay, perfect. And now I'm wanting to change this text to white. So I click on the text and I change it to white. Click on this text, change it to white. Okay, that looks lovely. Now, I'm very happy with my picture. I save the changes, and if I'm wanting to preview this, I select preview. Remember to always put it into a different tab so that we can compare the back and the front. The back and the front. Now, as we can see, this looks very different to the original. The original is that color with a white logo, and I think this looks much more smart, and I quite like the way I can just toggle over in the menu bar. So if I go back here, go back to the back end, and I am going to have to change this logo to the white one. So I click in, and remember in the beginning I actually did add a white logo, so I'm going to change it to that, and now you won't see it, which is not a problem. I'm going here, I'm changing my header color background, and I'm changing it to that. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So I've changed the top. I can actually move this up and down as I wish. I'm going to leave it as it is, and I can make the logo bigger and smaller as I wish. I always just save my changes as quickly as I can. Now, if you feel that you can't actually see the words as much, you need to make the gradient a bit darker. Like that. Okay. I'm happy with that. I will show you how to change this in a second. Let's go down. Now, we have videos. Now, this will be courses, say, if you're doing different courses or you're just doing one. And here we need to replace the images because this session is about images. So I click on the image that I'm wanting to add or edit, and I click on it like this. And now I'm going to add the image that I want. So like I've said, I've put all my images onto my desktop. So the first thing is that image, create and sell your online course challenge. I want also the program one. I'm going to be wanting the course workshop. Do you see here? I need to change the name. And I'm adding my simple video editing image that I've just downloaded from Pexels. I've added several images to my online platform. As you can see, my images have a certain brand look to them. So now I am going to go back and just check. So the first thing I'm looking at is an image for my 5-day challenge, an image for create and sell your online course, the actual program, and then simple video editing. So let's click in, edit image, select the image. The challenge was the first one. The program was the second. The images are a little bit similar. Might have to change that. Oh, look, okay, so it doesn't need to be stretched because else it was too big. But now look what happens here. So if I want them to be the same, and I must make sure I add my image description again for SEO purposes. I want them to be the same. Definitely want it to be the same there, and I can just move this down a little bit. As you can see, we can move things up and down on the builder quite easily. It's very, very adaptable. Save the changes. Okay, any other images we want to put in? Yes, I want to change the background, and I want to change this to the entrepreneur's image. Now, if you look in my other one, it's actually not black and white, so I'm going to add an overlay. and I'm going to choose my brand color, and I'm going to make the opacity a bit lighter like that. Okay. I have just added that image. I'm going to add it into here. I'm actually going to delete this block completely. That whole block is called a widget. Okay, so we now have added the photos. You can add any photos here, just like what we've just done, to a blog post. And that is how you go about adding images. So if I simply refresh my screen, I'll be able to see that the top has changed. Not changing anything yet about where this is going, where it's directing to, but I can see that when I scroll over each, it'll allow me to see the lighter colors. Go over here, it's going to bounce up and down. I've changed my background image, put a gradient overlay. I've changed my images here, but you see how this is not going to work so well if this is not the same. So I'm going to need to get the same size of this. However, saying that, I also don't want to be having two of the same images right next to each other. So I will modify that too. Over here, we see the image in the background with the gradient overlay and the two images that represent different parts. Okay, that is the end of adding images to your online course. Thanks so much for being with me today. I hope that you found an array of images that really represents your brand, and I look forward to seeing all of your courses soon, and I hope that you got as much out of it as I did.